you struggling with the smooth running of your bakery kitchen? This video is for you. Hi everyone, this is Amari, founder of Amari Baking Center and author of How to Start Up a Small Baking Business. In this channel, we share baking recipes, cake decoration tutorials, and baking for business advice. If this is something you're interested in, make sure to hit the subscribe button and like this video as well. This is basically a breakdown of the different type of systems you need. We did a video that described the systems you need to run your bakery successfully. And you guys asked to see a breakdown of the various systems. So this video is talking about production systems that you can implement in your own bakery kitchen or your bakery workspace to make it more efficient. So what I'm going to share with you guys is a list of tasks that you can start doing and start writing down so that it can be easier to run your day-to-day or your weekly or your monthly system of production. So the first list of tasks you need to work on are your recipes. So if you're baking for business, this one should be kind of obvious. You should have a list of recipes that you have, and then in each recipe you should have directions for exactly how to bake that cake. So let's say it's a cake. You should have exactly how to get it started, like what you should prepare for, equipment, ingredients, how to measure these things, how to mix them, how to bake and how long, at what temperature, and then you should also have how to cool them and pack and label them. So basically you're gonna have a list of recipes and how to execute on them. So that's your list of tasks. Now to go with that, you need to make sure you have a checklist. Like in case you're training someone, you should have a checklist to make sure that person has done that thing. So they can be able to check, have I made sure I have all my ingredients? Have I made sure I have all my equipment? And then go step by step in each task. It should have a checklist to confirm that that thing has been done. So your first list is your recipes. The second list of tasks you should have are cleaning lists. Now you might have more than one when it comes to cleaning lists, because obviously there's things you do daily, then there's some things you do weekly and others monthly. So I would suggest having 3 lists that list the task or the types of cleaning you should do every time. So like for a daily cleaning list, you can have maybe for dishes, dishcloths, and the different things that you have to clean every time you bake. For the weekly cleaning list, maybe you can have something like scrubbing walls, scrubbing windows, that kind of thing. And then you can have a monthly list for like a general cleaning and maybe how to clean out and scrub out your oven. So make sure you sit down, note down what you have to clean in the different periods of time, then write them down as tasks. Make sure you even describe how you want these things cleaned. If it's dishes, make sure they're maybe cleaned in hot soapy water and rinsed in, warm water. Describe exactly how you want it done, and then make sure you have a checklist to go with that. If somebody else is doing that cleaning, when they clean that, can they come and check to make sure they've cleaned everything that they're supposed to clean daily or weekly or monthly? So make sure you have cleaning lists in your production system. Now the third list of tasks you need to have are your opening and closing checklist. So this is a general checklist to sort of prepare yourself to open the workshop, especially if you have a separate kitchen space for your baking. There are things you should do before actually starting the process of baking. Maybe it's just wiping down the tables because they're dusty. Maybe it's removing equipment from storage, that kind of thing. Then you should also have a list of closing, like a closing checklist. These are the things you need to do before you close the door in your kitchen. Maybe you need to put ingredients back. Maybe you need to write a list of what you need tomorrow morning. The various things in your specific workshop that you need to do to open and actually close. So write the list of tasks that a person has to do to open or close, and then make sure you have a checklist so that when you do those things, you can come and check that you've done those things. The other list of tasks that I would tell you to write down, or these are more lists, are stock and inventory list. So a stock list is basically the list of ingredients you have, and you want to keep track of that daily or weekly, depending. If you're not so busy, you can actually do it weekly, but as you get busy, guys, you need to start doing daily stock. especially if you have more than one baker, you might have to do like a closing stock for the end of the day and maybe like a beginning stock, that kind of thing. For inventory, you can take inventory of the equipment and the tools you have, like maybe work tables, your whisk, measuring cups, your kitchen skills. You can do that monthly, and if you're a really big business, you can even keep that to at least maybe by yearly, like every 6 months or at the end of the year. Just make sure you have a list that helps you keep track of your ingredients, and that's daily or weekly, and have one for your inventory, that's your equipment and your work tables and all that stuff. And just an extra note, when it comes to your stock, especially your ingredients, you want to make sure you have an extra section or column that actually writes down the expiry dates. Everything that comes in should have an expiry date, whether it's your flour or even your food colors, guys, has an expiry date. So make sure as they come in and you're noting them down, or you're noting the reorder level or how much you need, you have a little extra column over there that notes the expiry date of every product. This is gonna help you keep track every month or every week or every day whether that thing has expired. So make sure you have that little extra column for expiry dates. The other list that I would tell you to have is all about storage. So you need to make sure you have at least a document that's stating exactly how every ingredient should be stored, or even how every equipment should be stored. For example, all of us, especially if bakers, use wheat flour. So you should make sure you have a description or something describing how you store flour. When you receive it or when you purchase it, what do? Do you put it in like a plastic closable container? Do you empty it and put it in specific containers and close it somewhere where it's clean and dry? You need to make sure you describe every ingredient that comes into your bakery workshop, how it's stored, where it's stored, and what you're gonna label on that thing. Maybe you need to make sure you've written all-purpose flour, maybe another one is self-rising flour. You need to make sure you label. So please sit down and make sure you have a list or like at least a description of how all your ingredients are stored. And this could actually apply to your equipment as well, like especially when people wash a whisk. How do you want it stored? Do you want it hanging somewhere? Do you want it put on a rack? You need to describe, even when it comes to your equipment, how you want them stored. If you want them air dried, and then after that you want them put in a container for storage. So make sure you have just a list of tasks and a description of how you want your things stored, both ingredients and equipment. And just as a little note in addition to that, you need to have a place to store even your packed or your packaging. Like as bakers, we have brown bags and we have cake boxes, so you need to make sure you have a specific place that you're putting those cake boxes, because remember, they're going to be holding food, and so they have to be kept very safe. The last thing I want to mention, but I don't want to go into detail, guys, is making sure you're ready in a food safety kind of way. So as a food business, it is your responsibility to be totally ready in every aspect when it comes to food safety. So you should make sure you have a system, or at least a list of tasks that you and anyone who's working with you needs to follow. This includes washing hands, making sure you store things, and then making sure you have like maybe a HACCP plan that you have in place that stops things like maybe having metal things in your food, maybe making sure you don't have wheat flour that has aflatoxins in it. Just making sure that by the time you're producing, manufacturing, and really selling these cakes to people, that it's going to be safe for everybody to consume. So what I would advise here is, if you can find an expert who can help you, whether it's setting up a HACCP plan or making sure you have a food and safety and sanitary kind of system in your bakery, even if you're a home baker, to make sure that whatever it is you're creating is safe for anybody to consume, especially in this time. So make sure you're ready for food and safety, and then make sure you're HACCP aware at least. So I hope this video has been really helpful to you. I know this is a lot of technical stuff, guys, but if you're baking for business, this is something that is necessary for you to do in your business. This is good for efficiency, and it's also good for the safety of your customer, and also for you to make sure you're running an effective business and you're not making any losses. So if you have any questions about the production system, make sure you comment below and I can help as much as possible. All the best, guys.